Wanted to start this video out today. I have a friend I was talking to on Facebook, and I was looking at one of the challenges she was doing for like a 21-day challenge, and the challenge was about arms, how to tone your arms. And I looked at the picture, and I saw in the picture that one of the workouts that she was doing, her exercises, was the upright row. If you know what that is, basically you grab a can or whatever you got, a dumbbell or a barbell, and you internally rotate your arms and you lift here and you bring your elbows up. Now, even if you pull back here and lift up, I'm going to tell you why you don't want to do this. Okay, so first things first, let's go ahead and internally rotate here, and I'm going to lift up. If you look here, what happens to my wrist? Right, that is an ulnar deviation. This is the ulnar bone here, and then it's deviating towards that way, right? And then this one would be a radial deviation. Whenever you're lifting weights, you never want any deviation in your wrist. You want a neutral grip on anything. So going from here, even if you can hold it as tight as you can, it starts to change no matter what. What that does is going to lengthen some muscles and contract some muscles that stabilize your elbow joint. We don't want that happening when you're lifting weights. You want your elbow stabilized as much as possible, and all joints stabilize as much as possible. So that's two things that happens here. Your wrist gets in a weird, awkward position no matter how good. Well, I'll do wide grip, and then I come up and it still starts to change no matter what. Stop this movement, please. Now, the biggest thing here is rotator cuff. And as anybody who's been lifting for a while, rotator cuff happens a lot. If you go see a physical therapist, the first thing they're going to do generally when you have a rotator cuff problem is they're going to check your internal rotation, and then they're going to put their hand on top of your hand or wrist, and they're going to tell you to lift up. Now, that's the exact same rotation that you do when you're doing the upright row. Oh, well, Damien, I only go up so far. I don't go up too far. I don't raise my elbows above my shoulders. It doesn't matter. The biggest thing that you're doing in this position is the internal rotation, and then you are lifting up. You have a muscle in between here that goes from your scapulus to your humerus, and it's in between your joint, your acromioclavicle joint, and that muscle right there has your humerus has basically a ball on it, right? And has a nodule on that ball. From here, it works. When you internally rotate it, that nodule comes up and pinches that muscle, your supraspinatus or supraspinatus, if you want to be fancy. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. All right, so right here is the supraspinatus. It originates right here from your scapulus, goes through your acromial joint, or acromioclavicle joint, and then attaches right here at the head of the humerus. Now, what happens is, see that little nodule right there? See how it's kind of notched out right there? Your internal rotation, so what you're doing is rotating that nodule that way. Once you rotate that nodule in that position and you lift up, as in this picture right here, you lift up, it pinches that tendon. We don't want to pinch that tendon. That is why you should stop doing this motion. Not because of this, not just because of this, especially people with elbow problems. But the biggest thing is, Damien, well, I love that. I've been doing that since 1989. It's always worked, blah, 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 blah. I've had no shoulder problems. That's great. Once again, these are problems that show up through other ways, and more than likely, if you've been doing that for a long time, then you probably have had a problem over the time. But I got a fix, so don't worry. I'm going to show you one exercise that you can swap out for that at any time. Now, with me, I've got these bands here in my house because I'm a housewife. And I like to use the bands because they give you constant tension. So let me step back here, and I'm going to show you. So when we internally rotate, that's not what we do when we pick up shopping bags. When we pick up our shopping bags, we are neutral position. Next thing we do, out, straight out, right? And you can go higher if you like. No need to, but generally, keep it even with the floor and keep that tension, come back down. These bands are like 25 bucks on Amazon if you want to get bands. If you don't have the bands, that's fine. Look at this. I got a can of black beans. No meat athlete, all right? So look once again. Here, straight. Get your core sucked in just a little bit for stabilization, and then straight up. We're not going forward, we're not going backwards. straight up. That's going to hit all the same muscles that this does, and it's going to give you less problems. Now, if you want, you can also do the lift. Okay, shoulder lift straight to your ears. I'm not going to do a video on that because I really want you to focus on this movement here. And when you do this movement, a lot of people get here, come here, and they do all this, and that works okay. But the biggest thing you want to do is lift arms straight out like you're going to put your arm under a fence. Think if there's a fence right here. So lift your arm, don't lift here at the elbow, lift at the hand, keep it straight. That's why you don't want to do this with heavy weights. Keep the weight light, keep the movement right, and you will gain the muscle. Are we ready? So we're going to go from here, put our arms under the fence, and our wrists are what? In a neutral position. Neutral position. And that leaves less strain on your elbows because all the muscles are activated like they should. And there is your fix. Please stop doing the upright row. And remember, train weird, train hard, die fit, and stretch!